So I spent 5 years of my priesthood living and working in El Salvador. I was the director of a home that cares for orphaned and abandoned children. And it was a beautiful, special place. It transformed the lives of those children. And I always say that I ended up learning so much more from them than what I actually gave to them. It's, if I had to say, what did I learn from them? I realized that they came from very hard, challenging, devastating backgrounds, and yet somehow understood they were given a second chance. And they ran with it. You know, they were children of hope. It's, I think instinctively they knew that they were receiving a lot from our home. So shelter, clothing, education, medical care, faith formation. They were receiving a really good life. But I think what I learned from them is that's not enough just to receive. They were constantly looking forward to giving back. So I've received this. Now how do I share this with this immediate family? How do I take my life and make the world a better place? They lived that way, and inspirational for how they taught me. So we have 7 sacraments, and what would be my favorite? I would say right now as a bishop, it's confirmation. And I have a lot of them. Our diocese is large. I celebrate over 75 confirmations a year. And I'll tell you, oftentimes they're at night. I've had a long day. I walk in and I'm tired. I'm just tired. I say, okay, here we go. Another confirmation. I've never walked out feeling tired. Every single time I walk out, I'm inspired. I can feel the Holy Spirit alive, and I see hope in our young people who I've just confirmed, who want to be a part of the church, want to participate, and being a part of that, I love that sacrament of confirmation. If there's anything that frustrates me about the Catholic Church, it would be this. It's whenever we intentionally look for ways of dividing ourselves or expressing a type of disunity. We can have the whole world against us, but when we internally can't see each other as brothers and sisters, when we can't meet each other at just seeing the best in you and the best in me, and trying there as a starting place, that's frustrating to me. And because I believe we can disagree within the church. There's things we can all disagree on, but when we don't do so respectfully, and when we become so loud and angry and polarized and divisive, that can get frustrating. How do I recognize when God is calling me to something? It's really only with 2 things. It has to be done in the context of prayer and some quiet. We live in such a busy world where we're surrounded always by our phones, our televisions, people talking. It's a constant noise around us. And I say in my life, if I don't stop that noise and center myself with some quiet, I'm never going to hear the voice of the Holy Spirit whispering in my ear. So just to have daily basis, some time for prayer, some time for disconnect from the crazy world of internet and social media and all of the obligations, some time for prayer. And for me specifically, I like to do so in front of the Blessed Sacrament. But I also think if you don't have access to the Blessed Sacrament, find some quiet place and just allow ourselves to rest so that God in some way or another can speak to our mind, to our heart, to our soul. What can young adults and millennials bring to the Catholic Church? One of the phrases that I kind of dislike a lot is that young adults, young people, children are the future of our church. And well, yes, they are the future, but they're also the present. And what they bring to the church right now is not something that we're waiting for, that they're going to develop into this great Catholic once they're older. The gifts that they have right now, what they've learned, who they are, how they live their faith, brings energy and life and vitality to our church. And so I want them present. I want to see them participating in our liturgical lives, our sacraments, but also being fed by the Lord and going out there and being the face of Christ in the world, whatever it might be, at your job and your family, just to live that faith in an authentic way out there in the world. The hardest thing about being the bishop of this diocese, I would say, is I have so many places I would like to be, and in limited that I can be at one place at one time. If you'd see how many invitations I get to be at masses or to speak or events, there's a lot of them, and I'm grateful for them. And I love to be out there. I'm constantly out there. I'm out there speaking and praying and out and about. And at the same time, I have to say no to so many things because of just a limited amount of time. And that's just a reality. But even though that's a hard and a challenging thing, it speaks to something about the vitality of our diocese, that there's a lot going on and there's a lot to participate in. And thank goodness that some people want me to be part of that also and invite me to it. That's an interesting question. If I had a sports hero living or deceased who I'd like to interview, who would it be? I've revealed controversially from the very beginning that I'm a Cub fan, and I drew the line in the sand right away. But I would say I look at someone like Ron Santo, and I have an autographed baseball from him, and someone just gave it to me as a gift. And I don't have a lot of sports memorabilia, but I see his name every day. It sits there right on my shelf, and he was a Catholic, a great baseball player, played third base for the Cubs, and Hall of Famer. And but he was not only great on the field. What I saw him is off the field, of how he battled diabetes, and he was vulnerable. And he really didn't try to hide what he had, but he allowed himself to be out there so that he could become a voice and raise money for juvenile diabetes and a number of things. He put his faith into action. So, great baseball player, also a man of faith. What's become clearer to me as I've aged, that I have a lot more gray hair, and it's a lot harder to read texts that are right in front of me, especially menus in restaurants. I need a lot more light or some glasses at times. But what's become clearer to me is that life is short. And I clearly see, as I'm getting older, don't waste it. Live it boldly, live it passionately, and not only the lives that we have with family and friends and this life that's in front of us, but live that spiritual life with some passion. We're on a journey of faith to love, serve, and know God, and it leads to our salvation. And I just have learned, don't take that for granted, embrace it, realize it, but live it. Besides another birthday, what do I hope to be celebrating 1 year from now? It would be my greatest hope that this Eucharistic revival that we've gone through as a country will have had some effect, that the love and the knowledge of the Eucharist will have nourished many people in a different way to not only embrace and know and love and serve the Lord, but that it'll have an effect also of how they live their lives out there in the world. That we will see some fruit of this Eucharistic revival with the true body, blood, soul, and divinity of Christ guiding us and leading us.